everyone, and welcome to another episode of Financial Freeway. Thanks so much for coming along. My name is David Atwood, the guy rocking the Ray-Bans. Now, I gotta tell you, it's getting harder and harder to rock these Ray-Bans as we get closer and closer to winter. But I kind of want to make the Ray-Bans my, kind of like my trademark. So it's kind of what I'm going with too. I like Ray-Bans, but it is getting darker and darker. So I might even have to start recording these sessions during the day at my desk at work for the next little bit until we get past winter. Right now I'm on my way to pick up Gaby from the ferry terminal. She was off in Vancouver today getting some work done. And I mean doing some work, not getting work done. And she is I'm trying to get back. She should be arriving back at 4:45, and I'm hoping I can get there before she has to wait too long. Today I wanted to talk about some real basics. I want to go back to basics of finance, and one of the things I wanted to talk about, and it seems again one of those no-duh kind of conversations, but I felt it's kind of important to have, and that is the conversation about budgeting. And budgeting is a thing that I don't know, I'm not a fan of budgeting myself. I really don't like to budget, but I feel like some of the people I talk to do need to have kind of a quick budgeting 101 kind of conversation, because to help get them to where they want to be. So let's look at budgeting really quick. What we're going to do is, the first thing you want to do when it comes to budgeting anytime is to go through and make a list of what you're spending your money on. And that is an eye-opener. You start looking around at how much you're spending on things that might be extracurricular, like beer, cigarettes, vape juice, things like that. You start looking at that stuff and you start to realize, you know what, maybe I can cut back on these things. Now there are things like rent, food, your utilities that you're just not going to be able to work around, but there are ways you can start kind of seeing things when you start tracking your spending. And there are a couple of apps that'll help you with that. I think the one app that I want to talk about is the one called The Mint, and it is a budgeting app, and I think it has a spending tracker option on there as well. I personally enjoy Excel spreadsheets or Google Sheets. I like to use those when I'm working on my finances. It makes it easier for me, but I've been working with Excel for like 25 years ish. Yeah, 25 years ish. No, that's an exaggeration. 23 years. So just a way for you to kind of see where the money's going. That's the first step to doing any sort of budgeting. The next thing you want to do is start making a list of the things that you can't avoid paying, right? You can't avoid paying for your shelter, your rent. You can't work around that. You have to pay your rent. So that's one thing. Next thing is some of the utilities. There are some ways you can cut back on some of the spending on utilities. It sounds really basic, but turn the lights out. And another thing too, if you have a furnace and you're heating your home, and heat is something you have to worry about and pay for, if you knock it down 2 degrees, like if you have your house set at like 20 degrees, which is a very comfortable temperature, you can save yourself actually a ton of money by just knocking it down that much. Turning lights off, that's really important. If you can, switch from incandescent to LED lights. Those are incredible money savers, but they are expensive to buy. But the price of LED lights are coming down. So maybe by the time you're watching this, it might be non sequitur. So it might not be important to worry about that. But focus on those things. Like, you can't change your rent. Your rent is your rent. Gas is gas, but I know people don't want to hear this, but you can always bike to work. You can always carpool. There are ways to cut down on the cost of fuel. So keep those things in mind. But the important thing right now is just to make a list of everything you're spending your money on and mark it down as essential and non-essential. And actually, non-essential is not even the right word. There should be 3 columns, actually. Essential, necessary but could be manipulated a little bit, and then non-essential, like your beer, your smokes, your vape, your weed, things like that. So and again, here's another thing right now. I'm listening to this book right now, audiobook, The Millionaire Next Door, and it talks about how so many people will go out for lunch or go out for dinner with their friends and pay. Don't do that. Stop doing that. If you're not wealthy, if you're not exceedingly wealthy, and I mean exceedingly wealthy, where your paychecks, you don't even worry about your paychecks. If you're not at that stage, do not start offering to buy people lunch. Just keep it so. In fact, a good thing to do is not go to restaurants at all. Just keep that up. Like, just don't do that. Knock off the beer when you're at restaurants, you can save yourself a ton of dough. But anyways, I want to focus on the budgeting. Once you have all of your kind of finances in order as to where they need to be, like what's important, what's vital, what's extracurricular, what is really actually just frivolous spending, you can start to really see where you can cut corners really quickly. So do that. Spend some time, a little bit of time, just kind of tracking your spending. Then once that's done, then you're going to start to actually start putting money. You make so much money a month, you're going to have to set some money aside for investing. That's it. And I want to see you guys investing 20%. I don't want to see people doing 10 or 15. I want 20%. I want people to invest enough to make a difference. And that's really important. Invest 20% and figure out how to live off of the rest. Now, this is not including your $5 every day that you're putting towards your RRSP, because that's going to be funding your pension plan. And remember, no matter who you are, no matter how healthy you are, someday in the future, you are going to have to quit working. You're going to have to live off of the fruits of your labor. So make sure you got that pension plan in place, in check, starting off with $5 a day. Got that. Now, on top of the $5 a day, you want to make sure you got your 20% set aside for investing. On the next video I put out, I am going to talk about investing and my investment strategy, and what I think is a really great, the investment strategy that I would tell my daughters. So I wouldn't tell, and that's another thing about this whole video thing that I'm doing. I would not tell you to do something that I wouldn't tell my daughters to do. But we want to make sure that we can allocate 20% of our income coming in, our take-home after-tax money, towards investing. And then we're going to throw that into some investments. But right now, this video, let's focus, if we haven't done already, let's focus on our budget. Let's get things organized, track our spending first, figure out where we can save, where we can cut some money off, what we can do, and then we're going to tackle our investment strategy. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for watching. Again, subscribe if you haven't. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know that I'm doing a good job. If you fire something off in the comments, I may or may not read it. I don't know. I've heard comments watching can be bad for the fragile heart. But yeah, throw me a comment. Tell me if you'd like me to talk about something in specific. I got a whole bunch of ideas coming up for the next couple of videos. Hit the notification button, you know, lets you know when I post these things up. I do try to make content every day, but some days I just can't get to my computer in time to pump them out. But we are making content every day, so having that notification bell will just let you know when they're happening. And finally, and this is the most important, share the good word, because that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get the word out that abundance, a life of abundance is possible, and it is your choice. I want people to be able to know that they can have a choice in whether they live an abundant life or not. Thanks so much. God bless.